Assalamu alaikum. In this part of vectors generalities, we will recognize and use the property of midpoint, recognize and use the property of center of gravity. Get ready and prepare your textbook, pens, draft papers, copybook, and calculator. Midpoint rule. We said before that if O is the midpoint of segment AB, then OA vector plus OB vector equals to 0 vector, because OA vector and OB vector are opposite vectors. Property. Let's say that AB is a segment of midpoint O and M is a point outside the line AB. Then A, M, and B are non-collinear points. If I want to find the sum of MA vector plus MB vector, we can insert point O between M and A and O between M and B. According to ch3 rule, we will have MO vector plus OA vector plus MO vector plus OB vector. MO vector plus MO vector is 2MO vector, while OA vector plus OB vector is 0 vector because O is the midpoint of segment AB. So we will get MA vector plus MB vector equals 2MO vector, and this is what we call midpoint or median rule. So the rule is MA vector plus MB vector equals 2MO vector. This is MA vector, this is MB vector, and this is 2MO vector here. And this is equivalent to MO vector equals half MA vector plus MB vector. Example. ABCD is a parallelogram of center O. M and N are the midpoints of AB and BC respectively. Complete the following with a suitable vector. The first one, AB vector plus AD vector. Here is AB vector, here is AD vector. According to midpoint rule, AB vector plus AD vector is equal to 2AO vector. Part 2, OA vector plus OB vector. Here is OA vector, here is OB vector, and M is the midpoint of AB. So OA vector plus OB vector is equal to 2OM vector. Part 3, OB vector plus OC vector. Here is OB vector, here is OC vector, and we have N is the midpoint of segment BC. Then OB vector plus OC vector is equal to 2 multiplied by vector ON. Application 1. Pause the video for 5 minutes and try to solve this application alone. In this application, we have ABC is a triangle and M is the midpoint of segment BC. Let N be any point in the plane such that 2AN vector plus AB vector plus AC vector equals to 0. In part 1, you are asked to find the sum AB vector plus AC vector. And according to midpoint rule, we can say that AB vector plus AC vector is double AM vector. Part 2. In part 2, you are asked to prove that A is the midpoint of segment MN. Start by the given 2AN vector plus AB vector plus AC vector equals to 0. We proved in part 1 that AB vector plus AC vector equals to 2AM vector. So 2AN vector plus 2AN vector equals to 0. Take 2 as a common factor. You will get AN vector plus AN vector equals to 0 vector. So A is the midpoint of segment MN. Centroid rule. First of all, you need to remember that a centroid or a center of gravity is the point of intersection of medians in a triangle. Now, if G is the centroid or the center of gravity of the triangle ABC, then GA vector plus GB vector plus GC vector equals to 0 vector. Example. Let ABC be a triangle and M is the point in a plane such that MA vector plus MB vector plus MC vector equals 3MG vector. Show that G is the centroid of triangle ABC. As we said before that if G is the centroid of triangle ABC, then we need to show that GA vector plus GB vector plus GC vector equals to 0. We will start by the given. We have MA vector plus MB vector plus MC vector equals 3MG vector. Now we need to insert point G between M and A, between M and B, between M and C. So we will have, according to ch3 rule, the following equality: mg vector plus ga vector plus mg vector plus gb vector plus mg vector plus gc vector equals 3mg vector. This will give us 3mg vector plus ga vector plus gb vector plus gc vector equals 3mg vector. So we will have the relation that we need: ga vector plus gb vector plus gc vector equals 0 vector. Hence, G is the centroid of triangle ABC. Application. Pause the video again and try to solve this application. In this application, we have ABC is a triangle of centroid G, and we have the midpoints D, E, and F, the midpoints of segments BC, AC, and AB respectively. You are asked to show that G is the centroid of triangle DEF. In order to show that G is the centroid of triangle DEF, then you need to show that GF vector plus GE vector plus GD vector equals to 0 vector. We will start by the equalities we know in midpoint rule. GF vector equals half GA vector plus GB vector. Here is GF vector. So GF vector equals half GA vector plus GB vector. Also we have GE vector equals half GA vector plus GC vector, and GD vector equals half GB vector plus GC vector. We will add these equalities to get the following equality here. We will simplify this equality to get GF vector plus GE vector plus GD vector equals GA vector plus GB vector plus GC vector, which is equal to 0 vector, since G is the center of gravity of triangle ABC. Now we can say also that G is the center of gravity of triangle EDF, since GF vector plus GE vector plus GD vector is equal to 0 vector. At the end of this video, you are asked to revise the core section and solve exercises 9, 10, 11, 16, and 22.